Good morning, it's 10 o'clock and we are going to start our series for the Intermediary Network. Today's event is called Responder Ride Along. You will hear from some hometown heroes that are first responders. We'll be hearing from the Des Moines firefighters, Ryan Oldberg, who is a sheriff's deputy with Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Office, Jim Mitchell, a fire chief with Polk City Fire Department, and Craig Sosby, a senior firefighter and paramedic with Polk City Fire Department. Should you have questions today, please feel free to put them in the chat. Our responders are not with us today. However, we will get them the questions and get you the answer back. Terry Hungerford is my co-host today. If we're able to answer the questions, we will do that. Otherwise, we invite you to sit back and go on a ride along with our hometown heroes. We're going to start out with a video of the Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Department.
Sheriff's Office search warrant. Okay, boom.
Next, we will hear an interview with Ryan.
Hello and good morning. I'm Ryan Olderog. I'm a corporal with the Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Office. And today I'd like to go over just a couple of the basic requirements of what it takes to become a law enforcement officer with our county. First, you have to be 21 years of age or older. You have to have a high school diploma or GED equivalent. So always stay in school, always try your best. Next, college is preferred. More education always adds value to your credentials when considering hiring other candidates. So if there's a pool of 20 other people, they're going to look at the education that you have and make a determining factor possibly on that too. Additional education can also excel leadership positions here in our department, such as promotions. The need to want to improve yourself through on-the-job training once hired, as opportunities arise, such as the Midwest Counter Drug Training Center, certain SWAT schools, leadership trainings, or etc. Once you're hired on, there's basically 9 steps that our department follows before they will offer you a conditional offer of employment. The first one being completing an online application, and then a written exam and physical agility, if it's applicable, if you haven't applied other places where they can transfer into our department. You have to complete a personal history statement, oral interviews, voice stress examination, a background investigation, physical, medical, and drug testing, psychological examination, and finally a final hiring date set for starting employment. There's many opportunities to explore if you would want to become a Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Office deputy or not. We have a ride-along program that's on our website. Our website is sheriff.pottcounty-ia.gov if you want to check that out sometime. And all the requirements for hiring are also on that website as well. Once you are hired here, there's several different divisions to work in, including the Civil Department, Investigations, Court Security, Road Patrol, ERT, the Bomb Unit, Negotiations, or Bike Patrol. There's a lot of good people to work for and with on this department. I've known some people that have retired from our department, have had opportunities to work with the U.S. Marshal Service in the past to transport prisoners as a retired gig, if you will, a retired job. I work midnights. I'm fortunate to work midnights. Sometimes it can be difficult. The body was not designed to sleep during the day and work all night. Some of the calls you encounter during the nights can be exciting, but there has to be a way to separate the work versus home life. It can be difficult turning off the work mode when you go home some mornings. Everyone has different ways of coping with stress of the job. Physical, mental, and emotional fitness play an immense role in this career. Now I'll take you outside and we'll show you one of the vehicles that we use to patrol the Pottawatomie County area. We'll get to the good stuff here. It's my Dodge Durango Cruiser. A few lights on it. I'll show you the inside real quick here. Radio, light bar, siren controller, turn them off for now. Printer, computer, radar, camera. A few things in the back, not a whole lot of room. A couple coats for the winter, ballistic helmet, medic kit, shotgun rifle, ballistic shield used to hold on to if we need to go into a call or a house. AED, all of our cruisers have AEDs in them. A bailout bag, got extra gloves, medical supplies, extra ammunition. These are stop sticks. These are tire deflation devices. We can throw them out, and if a suspect vehicle runs them over, they'll deflate the tires and hopefully end a pursuit if necessary. Show you the cage here real quick where the people sit. Not a whole lot of room, but let's check out the siren. That siren you heard toward the end is called a rumbler. It uses a low frequency to try to get the attention of people in cars, whether if they have their radio on or their windows up. You're supposed to be able to feel it, and you can feel it bouncing off the garage door too. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call the office. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks. Give you just a quick show on how we perform a traffic stop here. I stopped this truck for having a improper brake light. Already made contact with the driver. We'll go give him his driver's license and information back. I'm not going to write any tickets this evening, so.
All right, and now let's move on to a day in the life of a firefighter.
Attention personnel.
Okay, this is the 40700, roll call.
Our official start time is 7 in the morning, and we're dismissed at, relieved at 7 o'clock the following morning. However, most guys get here about an hour before, just so they can get things taken care of.
Usually the mornings are a little busy right off the get-go. You try to show up an hour early before. That way these guys who've been, working all day, they may have been up all night, they're getting out of here sometime between 6 and 7. That way they don't keep rolling on to other calls and stuff, so get them out of here.
Typically when we get here in the morning, we'll meet with the other crew, kind of get an idea of the things they did yesterday, equipment they used, any calls they went on, any areas we might have to maybe respond to again today.
We give each other a hard time. Other shift, we have to go through and get your jabs in and take your jabs from each other.
Engineers make sure the trucks are all prepared to go out. They check the fuel, they check everything, the engine, and make sure it's prepared and ready to go. Firefighters in the back will check all the equipment. We'll check the equipment around the truck, make sure everything's ready, make sure your air pack's ready, your gear's ready, everything's ready for the day. The trucks will get washed down, and then after that set's done, then we just go into our normal housework routine.
We all have what we consider our housework. We're assigned things to do. Mine's to clean the upstairs head, our restroom, and we scrub it down every morning. It's just like our house. You can hear the lawnmowers starting right now.
Some people have the kitchen. They have to clean that morning and night. Some people have we call it the cart room, which is the apparatus bay. I'll do that. I've got the flag. I'll hang the flag out. We've got the offices to clean. So you got your bathrooms. Everything needs to be cleaned up and ready to go for the day. Trash taken out. So it's just almost like a normal household. We just do it on a daily basis, where some people don't clean every day as thorough as we do. But
And then once that's done, you have some free time to get breakfast, and after that, usually you start your morning tasks. A lot of training. A lot of times you do training drills, inspections, all kinds of things like that. We may have maintenance items we need to follow up with too. So, and do take care of that and respond to any calls anytime we get calls for assistance.
24 hours gets a little longer at about 3 in the morning. That's when it really starts to kind of kick your butt a little bit. But otherwise, once you get into the routine, it just becomes normal for you. To a 24-hour shift is just normal.
and during that 24 hours, people are like, "Wow, that is a long time to be up." And it's like, well, you don't really have to be up the full 24 hours. We have enough to do with the inspections and training and stuff throughout the day. That gives you the normal 8 to 5 run.
I think a lot of people think we just sit around and watch TV all day and play games and just wait for fires, but that's not the case at all. I mean, lots of training, lots of maintenance that goes on. We do building inspections, public education.
We don't have a lot of downtime. A lot of people think we might, but I don't think a lot of people mow the lawns at their place of employment or clean the toilets at their place of employment and stuff like that, where in a 24-hour shift, we get a lot of work done. Whether they see it out in the public, we might not go on 20 calls that day, but we're in here doing work here. We're scrubbing the walls. Like if you look around at the walls, every spring we actually scrub the walls. Stuff like that a lot of people, we're pretty self-sufficient as far as that goes. We have our own shop people who come in and maintain the facility, stuff like that. So behind closed doors, we're not just in here cooking and watching TV. There's hopefully a little bit of time for that throughout the day, but for the most part, we have a lot of work. We have a lot of training, drills, and a lot of people, I think, believe that we are here hanging out until the alarm goes off, and that's not true at all.
We treat each other like family. They're my brothers. It's just they have families. I'm concerned about their children when something happens, when other people's children are in accidents or vice versa. You may show up you may not be the first person there. If another person across town, they know it's our child, they'll be there. If they know it's our wife, our significant other, they're there for us. So it's amazing the group of people that are here. And I think we're the most trusted people in the world. We still, every commercial throughout, you put on different commercials and you'll see a firefighter. You'll see the firefighter eating some pizza or whatever you want to say, you know. I think it has to do with people still trust us.
We're going to be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 a year, whether it's Christmas or July 11th. We're going to be there for you.
There's good days and bad days like everything else, and there's some good nights and some horrible nights like everything else. But as far as jobs go, it's the best job there could be.
I love my job. It's the greatest job in the world.
Thank you to the Des Moines firefighters for that video. And now we're going to move on to some series of videos put together for you by Polk County EMS.
We're here at Polk City EMS. Just want to start off by introducing yourself and your title.
Yep. I'm Jim Mitchell. I'm the fire chief for the Polk City Fire Department.
I'm Craig Sosby. I am a paramedic and a firefighter.
Okay, so first question here is what type of classes or training is required for an entry-level position in EMS?
So what we require is to be a paid on call or a volunteer member of the department. We would interview you. You would have to go through a physical examination that has to be compliant with National Fire Protection Association standard. If you complete that and pass that, then we would bring in a background check, then we would bring you on board. We would send you to training. The first training is Firefighter 1. It's a national certification. It's about 5 months long and it's 2 nights a week. It's approximately 120 hours of classroom. And then followed by that is the Emergency Medical Technician certification, and that too is a national certification. There's a variety of DMAC offers that course. A lot of community colleges, Mercy Hospital offers that course. University of Iowa offers that course. That too is about 120 hours worth of classroom, followed by, I believe, 12 to 24 hours of clinical time where you actually spend time in an emergency department, and then 12 hours in back of an ambulance, riding with an ambulance service. And then that too is, as I said, a national certification. So entry level, within the first 12 to 18 months, you have to become EMT or Emergency Medical Technician certified and Firefighter 1 certified for entry level.
Okay. Now, what if an individual would like to advance in the occupation? What additional training is encouraged?
Yeah, well, in the fire service and emergency medical services world, we'll call it EMS, we offer a ton of conferences and workshops and seminars and things like that. And there's also, from Firefighter 1, there's also Firefighter 2 certification, there's Fire Instructor 1 certification, Fire Instructor 2, Driver Operator certification, Aerial Operator for big ladder trucks certification, there's Fire Officer 1 certification, Fire Officer 2 certification. So you can, it's kind of a twofold thing. You go down the certification route, but then also if you wanted to be a full-time officer, lieutenant, captain, deputy chief, chief officer level, then you also need to go down the degree route as well. And eventually there's an associate's degree in fire science, there's an associate's degree program in emergency services, as well as a bachelor's degree in fire administration and emergency management as well. I believe there's also a bachelor's degree program in paramedicine. So you would need to go down the degree route as well. It's kind of, like I said, it's a twofold thing. There's certifications that you need to obtain. There's also a degree that you need to obtain.
And depending on what department you get on as well, there can be different requirements. Some may require a 4-year degree to be a full-time officer. Some may not. Just
correct.
Kind of depends on how the department is set up. And most of these departments, after you're in, they'll send you through these trainings. They'll provide these certifications for you, typically at no cost. So there is a lot of opportunity once you get in the door. And I think it's important to start with your local fire department, whether it's a volunteer department or a paid on-call department. But it's a good entry point, and you can go from there and really get your hands on it and see if it's something you're going to enjoy, and then find out what opportunities exist there for you, and if they don't exist there, where do they exist?
It's actually a great job interview, I would say, for both parties, both the fire department as well as the members, to see, is this a career path that you want to take?
Yeah.
And now we're gonna see a couple of demos that Polk City put together for us.
So you start growing.
Under your arm
You
here.
pull on your toes, make you grow. Okay, you ready to go up in the air? All right, here we go. We haven't dropped anybody today, so don't worry, okay? Couple bumps. Then we'll slide in. There you go.
Got some stickers there, Craig?
Great.
Yeah.
Should we take her around to the side door?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to give you some Wheaties so you
So we have our patient here hooked up. Can you walk us through why you hooked her up and how you did it and what you're looking for?
Yeah, we have our patient here hooked up to an EKG monitor, and what we're looking at is we're looking at the electrical activity of her heart. And what we're seeing here is the rhythm and heart rate, and you can also see on here we've got a pulse oximeter on that's reading the oxygen levels in her blood as well. And we could have the patient hooked up to this monitor for a variety of different reasons to look at the rate and a rhythm, whether it be anything from a high fever or they're having chest pain. And based on what kind of a reading we get on this monitor can a lot of times determine the next course of action in our treatment.
Okay. How does EMS affect work versus home life balance?
It can be a challenge in the fire service and EMS world. We have a variety of levels of positions that's available. We have volunteers. There's some departments that strictly volunteer. They receive zero to no compensation for providing this fire and emergency services, emergency medical services to their community. There's departments that offer a paid on call where they get a stipend for going out and serving their community. There's departments that have part-time, so they have to balance, those three levels have to balance a full-time career job with what they do for the fire department. And that's a difficult balance. They 40 plus hours a week at their full-time job. I've always said it's a challenge for them because if you prioritize, family usually always comes first, obviously, right? And then your full-time job comes second, and then if we're lucky, the fire department is about third priority in most paid on call or volunteer part-time people's lives. Career-wise, if you're a career firefighter, EMT or paramedic, then maybe it bumps it up to number 2, right? And it's a hard balance because we don't get called out from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock at night. Our calls come sporadic throughout a 24-hour period. If you're paid on call or volunteer and you're responding from home, that call can come in the middle of supper. That call can come in the middle of a dance recital, or that call might be in the middle of Thanksgiving, Christmas. And you get up and leave your family to respond to the citizens' needs. And so I've always said our members are not, our membership here is not specific to just the responders. It's a family membership. My wife buys into this just as much as I do, because she has to tolerate me leaving family events to respond to calls. She has to tolerate the date night out and leaving date night out to respond to calls. I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I agree. It can certainly be a challenge, and I firmly believe if there is a family involved, they need to be involved in the decision-making process, because you don't just run a call at 8 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's at 2 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's on Christmas Day. Sometimes it's on a birthday, and you need to be able to respond during those times. So it's important that you have family involvement in the decision-making process when you decide where it is you're going to go with your career in the fire and EMS service, and what hours you're going to work.
And that's just the time commitment challenge. You know, we also have the emotional challenge that's involved in this work. We see people at their worst moment, people that are severely injured or sick. We see people's houses literally burning down in front of them, and that can take an emotional toll too. So your family has to be very understanding to that and help you with that.
How does EMS affect work versus home life balance? So final thoughts here when it comes to a career in EMS. Why is your job better than an office job?
I think the simple answer to that is gratitude and self-gratitude. It's very rewarding knowing that you helped someone else when they were down on their luck. And just the fact that you get to help people. And even when people call 911, they're having the worst day of their life. No matter how serious we think it is or not, it's truly their worst day. And we get to not only respond, but we get to make their day just a little bit better. And that's fulfilling for me.
Yeah, and it's different every day. Not like walking into an office. You never know where your office is going to be in this field. You could be down in a ditch at 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, that could be your office for that call. You could be inside of somebody's house. So it's always changing. It's never the same. And it just really feels good to be able to help somebody out when they're having a bad day.
Finally, we put together some thoughts on things that you can do now if you're considering a career as a first responder. The first thing we do is encourage you to contact your regional intermediary to set up a job shadow, to become CPR and first aid certified, and you can do that now. You can volunteer. Being a first responder is all about serving others. Consider taking college classes in high school that may pertain to your career. So things like psychology, criminal justice, sociology, they may be all good things to look into in your concurrent enrollment programs. And finally, make good decisions. Sometimes getting legal charges can come back to haunt you, or sometimes making a decision that can cause a bad reputation can come back to haunt you. So make good decisions now to benefit your career in the future. We want to thank you for joining us on a responder ride along. Please take a moment, check out other live events and opportunities available to you at iowain.org. Thank you.